What I plan to do is talk first a little bit of introduction about human salt taste, taste qualities, and taste mechanisms. This will be a very high level, no details. Uh, Mention, of course, the necessity for reducing salt intake in the U.S. And then I want to just make about 6 different uh, aspects of why it is that probably from a sensory point of view, it is so difficult to reduce the amount of salt consumed, certainly in the population and of course for the individual. So I start with the human taste qualities, and these qualities are found, go back thousands of years, and there's a strong agreement that there's 5 primary taste qualities: sweet, salty, umami, sour, and bitter, and that they're there through evolution to solve really important issues of consuming sufficient calories, sufficient protein, and avoiding bitter or toxic poisons. And so these are fundamental parts of our biology. And for example, sweet taste is built in, and we like it because that is what animals like to be able to detect calories. And salty exists presumably because sodium is so important to the body. We have to have a mechanism by which we can recognize it, because in the world of animals that eat plants or even are omnivores, there's a real necessity to be able to detect sodium because it's absolutely required for life. So obviously, the reason we're here is because of concern about excess intake. And I just put two little quotes up about from a recent Nature review on nephrology. And I want to emphasize the second one, where the authors note that globally, the average daily salt intake of 10 to 15 grams of sodium chloride far exceeds physiological requirements of the World Health Organization, where less than 5 grams of salt per day is recommended. I will try to use the grams of salt as the discussion, but there's times when we talk about sodium. But basically, I want to keep on all of us on the same page with talking about how much salt people consume and where it comes from. This is a figure that probably almost everybody has seen 1,000 times, which is the demonstration that in our culture, salt is in everything. Salt is everywhere. It's in all kinds of foods, many of which we don't even feel are salty. And as a consequence, if we are going to reduce salt in the population, one is going to have to reduce the amount of in all these foods. And in the US, as again, I'm sure all of you know, most of the salt consumed is consumed from manufactured food. That is food that's purchased in grocery stores or in restaurants or what have you. And the estimate is about 80% comes from that source. And so it's very, very difficult to reduce it. And in the olden days, when I was first studying salt, people kept talking about getting rid of the salt shaker, but that really won't help much in our culture for the average person. This is one of my favorite cartoons, which is, I guess, indicative of the view that excess salt is a danger to the individual and to the population. So let me just talk a little bit about how salt taste works. And again, I'm going to be very simple-minded here. So here's the human tongue. We have taste buds on the tongue. We also have taste buds way in the back and in the palate. And interestingly enough, there's taste receptors and taste buds throughout the body, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the conscious perception of taste, which begins with the taste receptors on the tongue. So this is a cartoon of a taste bud. And what we believe now is that taste buds have taste cells, and in each bud, there may be a mixture of cells, some responsive to salt, some to sweet, some to sour, some to bitter, and some to umami. And then these detect the stimuli and pass this down to the brain, which I'm not going to talk anything about how the brain analyzes this, but this is the presumed mechanism by which we detect these basic tastes. I should say that these taste receptors can detect other compounds as well, but from the perceptual point of view, the major sensory response to taste is these 5 basic tastes. So there are 2 major types of taste receptors, which I've shown here. One, the GPCRs are, if you can kind of think of a lock and key mechanism, where the compounds, the molecules that elicit the taste are able to be detected by a receptor that's kind of like a lock and key. But this is a little bit different in that the variety of different kinds of keys could go into the lock. The one on the left, the ion channel, is very, very different. Here, the tastant, and we believe this is how salt works, the tastant does not go into a sort of a lock and key situation, but literally goes through a channel or a hole inside the cell. And this is very, very specific for salt. And as a consequence, as we'll see, there are very few compounds that actually are salty. This is another picture of this channel. It was finally published in 2009, and this is clearly one of the major taste receptors, but it's not the only one. There are other, maybe less specific salt taste mechanisms which appear to exist. And amazingly, given what we know about so many other things, we're not sure exactly what these mechanisms are yet, even yet. There are several candidates, but and this is an area that we at Monell and many other places are working to try to understand what are all of the mechanisms underlying salt taste. But the taste channel is probably the most important. So now I want to move to these 6 characteristics of taste that may compromise our ability to successfully reduce sodium in the population. First of all, it's widely believed, although it's difficult to prove, that there's an innate component to our liking for salt. And one reason that we believe that is because the many animal studies have shown that at the moment that an animal becomes salt deficient, it recognizes what it needs by taste, and it needs no experience to do that. So that's called salt appetite, and it's found in many plant-eating animals, and it's, however, very unusual in humans. It's in the general population, almost nobody is salt depleted. You may feel like you are, you may desire salt, but in terms of the body's physiology, humans are remarkably good at conserving salt. So salt taste, salt appetite in the sense of this tremendous desire to get salt is seen only in certain medical conditions. However, there is a salt preference, which is a bit different. And it's also true that many species like salt even when they're not depleted. Certainly humans do. And so most of our interest in salt consumption and trying to reduce it is about salt preferences and how these might be modified. So one reason we think that some tastes are innately responsive, responded to, is from facial expressions. And this is a newborn infant showing a positive, they claim it's a smile. I don't think it's that, but it's kind of a relaxation and a sucking desire for sweets. And this is a photograph. We've done studies on premature babies showing that they respond to sugar at the very first time that they've ever had anything prior to feeding. And this is a response to the opposite, the bitter taste. Clearly, this is a strong response, again, to an infant that has had no earlier experience. This is a response of an infant to salt, and as far as we can tell, this is unresponsive. This is the same way the infant would respond to plain water. And so there's no evidence that at birth, infants have a preference for salty substances. We've studied this in infants at different ages, and one of the interesting results of this is a demonstration of salt taste preference sort of developing at about 4 months of age. So on the left here is three substances that the babies are given to suck on. One is water, the other is a low concentration of salt, the second is a concentration 0.2 molar, which is about the level that would be found in commercial soups, for example. And as you can see, early on, there's no difference in response to these three substances. But by the age of 4 months, there's a clear preference for and a liking for salt. There are reasons to believe that, this change is due to a maturation of the salt taste receptor, and therefore reflects a kind of innate response that doesn't develop until about 4 months.